Good evening, everybody. Welcome to KUMB TV's Eyes Up, Mother Brown. We are live once again for this big Premier League clash between West Ham United and Brentford. A must-win game for West Ham, some think. Could it be curtains for David Moyes? One player, manager it certainly isn't curtains for at the moment. It's Thomas Frank, who's just signed a 5-year contract with the Bees, so he's certainly going anywhere. But what do we think about David Moyes? There has been a change in the team. We'll be taking you through that in just a moment once we get the video up and running. And let me know your score predictions. I see one or two of you have got them in already. Let me know what you think tonight's, how it's going to go tonight. Will West Ham come back there we go. Evening all. Will West Ham come back tonight to earn a first Premier League win in 4 defeats in a row, 4 Premier League defeats, plus that cup defeat to Blackburn as well. 5 defeats in all competitions for the Hammers in a row. Desperately needing a win tonight. And I believe we're just going to have a minute's silence for Pele before the game. It's a minute's applause, so I can carry on talking. It's I'm not talking over any silence. So the whole crowd giving a deserved round of applause for possibly the greatest footballer of my lifetime. You may disagree. We've got Maradonas and Messi's and one or two others, but for me, Pele, pound for pound, the greatest footballer ever to have graced the planet with his skills and rightfully being recognised by the crowd and the players at the London Olympic Stadium. Right now, we are just a few minutes away from kickoff. We're actually a little bit late, so I'm just wondering if my stream's running a little bit behind. But I shall endeavour to bring you all the latest news from the game as it happens, or at least as it happens on my screen anyway. It may be that I'm running a couple of minutes. I do apologise for the mini burps here. I've just hurriedly rushed down some dinner. But there you go. You have to put up with it. It is me, myself, and I tonight. The rest of the team at the game or otherwise indisposed. So I shall endeavour to try and make sure there's no awkward silences. Difficult to have those on your own, isn't it, really? But anyway, do keep me company. You might have to try a little bit harder than normal. In the comment section down there, it is down. I can't get my finger. It's there. Look, everything's backwards. It's down there. Let me know what you think of the game as it's going on, how you think West Ham are playing. And we are underway anyway. Just going to shovel across there a little bit. At the London Olympic Stadium, West Ham versus Brentford. Brentford going into this game 10th in the table. West Ham, of course, struggling 6 places lower in 16th. 6 points less than the Bees so far this season. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out because the popular views that West Ham are playing a 3-4-3 tonight. Paqueta, of course, introduced in the centre of midfield next to Declan Rice. No Thomas Souček in the starting 11 tonight. He's on the bench for the first time. Actually, it might be the first time he's started on the bench since he came to the club, but apparently dropped tonight by David Moyes. Not particularly surprising, hasn't been quite at the races. But anyway, West Ham on the front foot to start with. This is good. Lucas Paqueta, much going to be needed from him tonight. Tries to play the ball down the line, chips the ball over the defence, looking for Emerson, who's playing on the left side of midfield by the looks of it. Good to see the Brazilian involved heavily. I say heavily, we've only played 66 seconds, but everything's been going through him so far. So you'd like to think that that might be something that Moyes has looked at in recent days. Let's have a look at a couple of your predictions, folks, so far. I should say some good evenings for us. Craven, Dan, Polaroid, Hobo, Steve, Metal in both legs, Gore, Edwards, all the usuals. Good to see you, chaps, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all had a good Christmas, actually. Feeling the excesses of it, one or two of us. Lots of trips to the gym required in the new year, I think. But what did you do? What did you get up to at Christmas? Let me know. We did West Ham presents the other day, didn't we? But let me know what you've been up to. Have you had a good Christmas? Anything gone horrendously wrong? Let me know either way. Vladimir Soufal on the right-hand side for West Ham, breaking into the final third, looking for options. Nothing on. Plays it short to Paqueta, who finds Bowen on the right. Now, can Bowen find the Brazilian again? He can. Down by the right flag. Looks inside the box for Bowen. It's a bit of a ambitious pass, and Brentford able to pick it up. But good start this from West Ham. All over Brentford at the moment. Paqueta's got the ball back on the right-hand side, and he's going to win a corner here for West Ham. No, he's not going to win a corner. It's been given as a goal kick. I thought he had, but not so. Much, of course, being made of Said Benrahma's involvement tonight. Now, it seems to have won himself a place in David Moyes' starting 11, having been sort of in and out of the team pretty much since he joined, really. But seems to have become the club's main penalty taker now. So that's a good enough reason, if any, to stick him in the lineup. But this is very interesting, actually. Brentford playing the ball out from the back. And Raya, the goalkeeper, playing it short. And Declan Rice is chasing the Brentford players down into their own penalty box, which is quite interesting. Definitely seems to be a slight change in tactics deployed by Moyes tonight. West Ham playing a little bit more higher up the pitch, which is, of course, what the fans have been calling for. But we'll see how it develops. Brentford with the ball now in the centre circle. West Ham settling into a more sort of regular defensive formation. And let's have a look, see how we're lining up here. Looks like we're dropping into a back five when we're not in possession. Aaron Cresswell, who usually plays at fullback, of course, playing as one of the three centre halves today, alongside, as you can see, up there. Teams are up there, alongside Ogbonna and Craig Dawson. Interesting, someone pointed this out on Twitter. I don't know if you have a look at the West Ham team lineup, but I'm not sure if this is the first time I've ever done this, but they've listed the players in numerical order rather than preferred positions, which causes a little bit of difficulty when I'm trying to see what defenders are actually in the team. But anyway, so very early signs are that West Ham look to be playing a 3-4-3 when in possession, and a 5-4-1 or a 5-3-2 when without the ball. But we'll see how that develops as the game goes on. 4 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Brentford 0. Predictions, what have we got so far, folks? We've got Craven going for a 2-1 win. Well, hang on. Brentford deep in West Ham territory. Cress is coming in from the left-hand side. It's a poor one, though, and Declan Rice can break now. Let's keep an eye on this for a minute. Rice is breaking. So Benrahma's ahead of him. Plays it into Benrahma. Benrahma beats his man. That's great work from Benrahma. Now, can he get a crossing? Can't. Checks back. Looks for the option behind. It's Declan Rice. Will he let one go? Declan Rice thought about it. Checks, turns, puts it back out to his side. Benrahma back into Rice. Rice looks for option. He's going to have a go this time. Takes a shot. Oh, it's off the woodwork. Declan Rice has hit the post. Oh, that's so close. Great build-up from West Ham. Declan Rice on his right foot. He was looking for it before a few moments ago. This time he's tried his luck. Raya is beating all ends up. And it's, let's have a look at this. Yeah, it's hit the post pretty much flush on the nose, halfway up, and West Ham are inches away from taking the lead. But encouraging stuff from the Hammers. They really need the fans to get behind them tonight, and things like that will only help that happen. But great start from West Ham here, completely in control, and we've got a good atmosphere. We've got an atmosphere at the London Olympic Stadium. Great stuff. Where did we get on? Predictions. Craven, 2-1 win. Polaroid going for a 3-0 West Ham win. Steve Palmer, 3-1 West Ham win. Gore Edwards going for a 1-1 draw. Dave Grenville going for a 2-0 West Ham win. Steve Palmer going 34-21 to West Ham. No, that's the formation. So that would have been a good score. Bad luck never ends, does it, Craven? Another one. When was it? I think it was it the first 5 games? We hit the woodwork something like 10 times in the opening 5 or 6 games of the season. But good to see that, though, nonetheless. It's good stuff from West Ham. And definitely showing our attacking intent. Soufal now plays it short to Benrahma in the centre of the field. He's got Emerson overlapping. Breaks to the left-hand side. Looks up. Looks for options inside. Where's Declan Rice? That's the player we'll be looking for. Plays it short, though, to Cresswell. Cresswell, a little 1-2 with Emerson. Back to Rice now. He's about 40 yards from goal. Plays it into Paqueta, who does well. Turns, holds it off, finds Bowen. Bowen tries to thread it through for Scamacca, who's back in the team tonight, of course, following a recent injury, but couldn't quite find it, and it's been taken out. But the big moment so far, 5 minutes, Declan Rice hitting the post from 25, 22, 23, 24 yards. Now, I've got a bit of an issue here, as pointed out by Steve Palmer a few moments ago. Lucas Paqueta is down, clutching his right knee. I hope it's his knee, not his thigh, because usually that tends to indicate a knock rather than a strain, which would be could potentially be disastrous for West Ham. But let's have a look how he did. I think it might have been when he turned. No, he's actually just gone down with no one near him. Now that is concerning. That is worrying. That is really worrying. And Manny Lanzini, Pablo Fornells, both warming up. This would be disastrous for West Ham. It looked started so strongly. But the good news is Paqueta's back up on his feet anyway. Doesn't look particularly happy though, limping slightly on that right leg. He's going off now as is customary. Thomas Souček also warming up. Souček, of course, left out of the starting 11 tonight. For those of you who might be operating on tiny screens and can't see it, I'll run through the starting 11 for you briefly. Lucas Fabianski retains his place in goal. Cresswell, Soufal, Scamacca, Paqueta, Dawson, Bowen, Ogbonna, Benrahma, Emerson and Rice in numerical order. Substitutes, even I can't read those. Areola, Johnson, Fornells, Antonio Lanzini, Flynn Downs, Tilo Kehrer, and I can't say Souček, and I'm not sure who that is, the eighth one, because I can't even read my own screen. Let's just go to the big screen. I'll tell you who it is. Aguerd, of course, Naif Aguerd, who has been missing since returning from the World Cup, back on the bench tonight. So we have got options there, assuming they're reasonably fully fit. Whether David Moyes needs to employ them or not remains to be seen. Good news is that Paqueta is back up and running, and West Ham still pretty much controlling the game. It's a good start from West Ham. It's really good, but could really do with an early goal. Declan Rice now takes the ball deep into the Brentford half, plays it out on the left to Emerson Palmieri. He looks to cross. It's blocked, but it falls to Cresswell, who gives it back to the Italian international, plays it back to Declan Rice. West Ham looking to build again. It's all West Ham in this opening 10 minutes. The Hammers in complete control so far, but nothing to show for it, bar that effort by Declan Rice, which rattled the woodwork after 24 yards. Drinks break. What do you make of the start so far, team? You happy with the way West Ham are playing? Is this what you wanted to see? I mean, of course, a lot of people were demanding changes from David Moyes after those 4 successive league defeats and a pretty poor start to the campaign. But it's worked so far for the Hammers, and we're looking the better side by far. Emerson down. West Ham won a free kick just inside our own half on the left-hand side by the touchline. The Italian down after taking a knock from behind. And West Ham break again. Cresswell, long ball down the flank, looking for Gianluca Scamacca back in the side after recent injury and illness. 10 minutes gone. First 10 minutes gone. No goals at the London Olympic Stadium, but a much, much better West Ham start than we have seen in, I was going to say weeks there. It might be months, actually. But Craig Dawson wins the ball, finds Jarrod Bowen on the right-hand side. Now, Bowen's got Dawson overlapping on the side, and it's a corner to West Ham. I can see from the comments in the stream, I'm some way behind one or two of you. So I'm going to see if I can find an alternative stream. Bear with me just a minute to see if I can catch up a little bit. But on my screen, West Ham have a corner. I know something's going to happen from it in just a second, because I've seen your comments. But let's see what happens here. It's Vladimir Soufal with the corner from, no, it isn't. Bowen drifts it in. Dawson with a header, and yeah, it is. It's inches wide. Well, this is encouraging. Rice has hit the post. Dawson's won a header from a corner, which is something we pretty much failed to do in recent weeks at all. Just wide. Oh, and it is only just wide. It's inches wide. Heads it across goal. There's no way that Raya would have got there if it had been on target, but just wide from the experienced centre half, and it remains 0-0. Although West Ham are completely and utterly on top at the moment. I'll get some stats up in a minute so we can see exactly what's going on. But you encouraged by what you've seen so far from the Hammers? Better shape? You more comfortable with this particular lineup? Let me know. West Ham have a free kick. Said Benrahma bundled to the ground. And again, this is a promising position for the Hammers, some 35, 40 yards from goal. It's going to give my stream a little refresh, as we're a little bit behind. But yeah, good stuff from West Ham. I'm on 12:25. Steve, thank you for the time check, which was probably about a minute ago. but I didn't see when it came in. Dawson wins the header from the free kick, and it's hoiked clear in a touch for a West Ham throw-in, some 15, 18, 20 yards from Brentford's goal on the right-hand side. West Ham's right, that is. We're in there deep into the 13th minute. Soufal with the throw-in, deep into the box. And it's the ball's all over the place, and Bowen turns. Can he get a shot away? He can, but it's just wide. And for a minute there, it looked like Emerson might be in, but Bowen it was who had the eventual shot. Just wide, but West Ham getting close, of course. I should point out perhaps that we're still to have a shot on target, but hit the post in two shots very, very narrowly wide. That's actually a corner. It's taken deflection. So West Ham will have a second corner. It's Craig Dawson who had the ball initially in the box, looked to turn and was bundled over. I think it was a fair challenge, nothing in that. But Bowen will take this corner for West Ham from the right. Dawson, Skamaka, one or two other big names lining up, delivered deep. Keeper comes across and fumbles it. Dawson holds up, goes to ground. Referee says no penalty. Dawson, I think, was rather looking for that. Nothing in it, I don't think. But Hammer's still in possession. All West Ham at the moment. The Hammer's totally on top here. Said Benrahma on the left-hand side looks to go into the box. Turns, twists, still with the ball. Lays it short to Emerson. These two combining well so far. Emerson plays it back. Declan Rice with the ball. West Ham patient, looking to build again. Lucas Paqueta, who's probably done more in the opening 15 minutes than he has in the last 15 games that he's played for West Ham. Ball played into the channel, looking for Jarrod Bowen. It's too long and goes out for a goal kick. 14 and a half minutes gone. West Ham 0-0. Yeah, Alan Pardew stats says it could easily have been a penalty for Dawson. Let's have another look at that. And what do you think? Was it a penalty? Dawson, I think, is looking for it. He just stands up and stops. I don't know. He's been caught. He's definitely been caught there. Let's have another look. I mean, it's one of those. It's almost, yeah. I mean, it's one of those. I think where you can say you've seen them given. I mean, I think trying to be as unbiased as possible. Dawson was probably looking for that, but you've seen them given. Brentford have just had their first shot of the game. It's an easy effort for Fabianski from. Where are we? 22, 23, 23 yards out. It takes two bounces before it hits Fabianski. But first chance for Brentford. First, and of course they're the first team to register a shot on target in the game. Polaroid, yeah, I didn't think so at the time, but the replay looked like it was. So yeah, Polaroid, I'm kind of with you on that one. I felt it was. It wasn't a penalty on first viewing, and that Dawson was making the most of it, kind of looking for it. But on the slow motion and having another look, I'm not so sure. Not so sure. You've seen them given, as it were. Mo Salah and Ronaldo and players of that ilk may well have been given penalties, and maybe teams a little bit more experienced of that sort of thing, like not like West Ham, might have been crowding the referee, demanding a VAR review or a penalty. Kevin Nolan is convinced it was a penalty, according to his protestations on the side of the pitch there. He's banging the ear of the fourth official, but nothing given. What have we got here, Hobo? Fun fact. According to statistics, West Ham remain the only club not to score in the opening 15 minutes. That's facts on the stream I'm watching, by the way, so who knows? Probably true. Probably true, Hobo. Not exactly been prolific in 90 minutes, let alone 15 minutes this season. What is it, 14, 15 goals during the campaign so far in the league? Not good at all. Quick look at the early statistics from the game. We're in the 17th minute. There has been a goal at the London Olympic Stadium. I've just seen it come up on the BBC on my stream. Brentford have scored. Ivan Toney. I've not seen it yet. Some of you guys will have. Ball played down the left channel. This will probably be the goal. Okay. This is desperately poor news. If this is the case, yeah, Toney scored. I haven't seen it yet. I'm watching a stream. I'm obviously a minute or two behind, but I've just seen it come up on BBC and Twitter. Now let's have a look. Jensen's got a throw in on the left-hand side, just outside West Ham's penalty box. Presumably, this is where the goal is going to come from. At the moment, he's just caressing the ball like a newborn baby into his chest. And here he goes. He's about to throw it. West Ham got 11 men back in the box. That looks fine. 4 Brentford players coming at the back. I'm just trying to keep an eye on Ivan Toney to see where he is. Jensen's going to hurl this one in deep by the looks of it. Long throw to the near post. West Ham beaten, punched out by Fabianski, and toe poked in by Ivan Toney. Unbelievable. West Ham have been absolutely on top and undone by pretty poor stuff, really. Not quite sure who Craig Dawson collided with as they were trying to win the header from the throw-in, but it's been nodded back into the centre of the goal. A shot come in that Fabianski's only able to kind of claw away as far as Ivan Toney's just poked the ball over the line. And it's desperately unlucky for West Ham. Yeah, it's Soufal's got in Dawson's way. Quite sure why Dawson's coming for that, really. Soufal's got that covered. The shot comes in from the Brentford number 6, who is Norgard, the captain. It's palmed away by Fabianski, and Tony's first to react and pokes it over the line. And I'm afraid to say Brentford have the lead. Completely against the run of play, but that's the way it's been going for West Ham this season. Ivan Toney celebrating by doing a West Ham crossed hammers salute. Let's hope he's laughing on the other side of his face in about 75 minutes. But, you know, to do that, West Ham are going to have to do something they haven't done too often this season. That score twice if we're going to win this game. But poor start, West Ham. We're still, of course, yet to get a shot on target. Did hit the post after 5 minutes. Dawson and Bowen both had good efforts. Look well on top, but I cannot believe it. That's just West Ham's luck so far. Liverpool losing at home to Leicester. Dewsbury Hall scoring the opening goal of the game there. What did you make of the goal, team? Could we have done better? Did Craig Dawson need to go and win that header? Could he have left it to Soufal? It kind of strikes me as the sort of thing that happens to teams when, there's a little bit of desperation. And, when the pressure's on. Mistakes being made, and Brentford have another corner. Just quickly, while we're waiting for that to be taken, a quick look at the stats. West Ham, actually, it's been given as a goal kick, not a corner. Referee's changed his mind. West Ham, 62% possession to Brentford's 38 so far. West Ham, 4 shots, none on target. Brentford, 3 shots, 3 on target. Every single shot on target, including the goal there. West Ham, 2 corners, and Brentford, none. That's how we stand after 20 minutes in this Premier League encounter at the London Olympic Stadium. Tony, you could have bet on it, said Hobo. Adam Pardew's dad replying, Moyes' job is hanging by a thread. And Craven suggesting, as I said, he should not be allowed to play. Yeah, that's where we are. Anyway, West Ham shocked and a little bit stunned by that, but looking to get back into the game, back in possession and trying to play some neat interpassing around the centre circle, but Brentford able to just pick it off and play it back to the goalkeeper. Brentford's team didn't go through it. Raya, Roaslev, Zanka, Pinnock, Henry, Captain Norgard, who was involved in the first goal. Jensen took the throw-in. De Silva, Mbuemo, who I believe scored against us last time we played at the Brentford Stadium, and Ivan Toney. Great little burst forward. This by Lucas, by Cyber Run. Plays it back. Jared Bowen, shot blocked. Good chance for West Ham. Much better again. And the crowd beginning to get behind the team, which is nice to see. But still have the ball now. It'll be interesting to see what Brentford do here. Will they just sit back and try and suck up the pressure and hit West Ham on the counter, as they did to such great effect a few moments ago, or will they look to add a second and pretty much kill off the game? Because you can imagine if they do get a second here, how the atmosphere might turn a little bit at the stadium. We've seen it once or twice before in the past when West Ham are in these difficult positions. One hopes the fans will stay with the players tonight, but we shall see. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. People paying a lot of money to get to the ground tonight. It's pretty awful weather, let's be honest. I feel they've got a voice. I feel they deserve to have a say. Who's to argue they don't? West Ham breaking on the left-hand side. Declan Rice has the ball inside. Looks for options, nothing on. Sprays it out to the right-hand side, looking for Vladimir Soufal. Soufal nods it back to Bowen. Bowen looking for options, 30 yards from goal. West Ham a goal behind to that Ivan Toney strike on 18 minutes. Craven, I can see being your usual positive self in the chat there. I think there's a long way to go, mate. Let's hope we can get back into this. I think there's a lot of football to be played. I'm kind of encouraged by the way West Ham have played tonight, even though we're behind, which is naturally disappointing. But we've started well, hit the post. Good shout for a penalty. A couple of other decent efforts. It's not been the worst start we've seen from West Ham in recent weeks, and the players are certainly giving it a good go tonight. On top, Jarrod Bowen with the ball, plays it out to Soufal, looking to get a crossover, whips one in. Nobody there, headed clear by Brentford, and Brentford win a free kick for a late challenge by Lucas Paqueta. A few gaps in the crowd, says Steve Palmer. Can't say I blame them. No, it's horrible out there. Well, I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but it's damn chilly up here. Damn chilly in the Shires. And definitely better off indoors this evening. As we said in the other game being played tonight, Liverpool a goal down at home to Leicester. Now let's have another look at that. Now, is there a possible shout for a handball from that Bowen shot? I think it's Ben Mee who's blocked it. Looks like the ball might have bounced up onto his hand, possibly. Not sure. Again, it'll be another one that if you were Brentford, you would feel incredibly hard done by were that awarded, and it isn't. But West Ham just need to keep working hard at this, keep putting on the pressure, and the chances will come. Just need a little bit of luck as well. Just not been going our way this season, is it? As we said earlier, all those chances that hit the woodwork. Remember going to Forest? That is almost like the complete reverse of today. Boiling hot day at the City Ground, where West Ham hit the post a couple of times, had that goal disallowed. Of course, we can't forget, the one at Chelsea, where Cornet, I think it was, wasn't it, scored, and it was disallowed right in the last moment. Should have been a point for West Ham, but wasn't to be. It's been that kind of season. 25 minutes gone. Still West Ham United 0, Brentford 1. 2003 vibes about it, says Craven Moorhead. Yeah, that was an incredible season, wasn't it? West Ham didn't win at home, and I think it was until it was either the 30th or 31st of January, wasn't it, that season? Was it Southampton we beat 1-0 at home? Right at the end of the transfer window. Glenn Roeder given some funds to improve his team, brought in a couple of players. Celez Ferdinand, Rufus Brevitt, friend of the website. One or two others came in, helped steady the ship. Actually changed our season around really well. Ended up with top 8 form for the last 3 or 4 months of that season, but obviously the damage had been done by then. It was all too little too late. Of course, West Ham went down with a record score of haul of 42 points. No team has ever been relegated from the Premier League or a 38 game top flight with as many points as that. Lucas Paqueta conceding a free kick, and Brentford get the chance to get their foot on the ball. Don't forget, Nick's not here tonight, so I've got to do it down there, underneath there. If you're enjoying what you're watching, just give us a little thumbs up, subscribe and all that, hit the bell and all that malarkey. Helps the channel grow and prosper, so I'm told. But yeah, West Ham still behind. What do you make of the performance so far? Are you pleased with what you've seen, or is it a case of same old with West Ham, not having a shot on target yet? A quarter of the way through the game. And what did you make of the team? Are you pleased to see Thomas Souček rested tonight? Obviously, a lot of people have been asking to see Lucas Paqueta in this central midfield partnership with Declan Rice. It seems to have worked quite well tonight so far. They've seemed to have gelled reasonably well. But anyway, Soufal has a chance now. Looks for Gianluca Scamacca, who does finally have our first effort on target. The ball delivered to the far post. Scamacca is always reaching to get ahead on it. No power on it at all, and it pretty much just drops into the hands of Rea. But it is on target. So West Ham finally get one aimed in the right direction, even though there's no power behind it. But bit by bit, we'll get there hopefully. Hobo says we're playing well enough, but as Deal would say, this season has that feeling about it. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens when the Conference League resumes. If we're still in a similar position, what David Moyes' view will be about it then, assuming, of course, he's still in the job. And one wonders if that might not be the case if West Ham continue to struggle. But you've got to, does he prioritise the league over the cup? Does he, just look to remain in the Premier League and win the cup? Of course, if we win the Conference League, it would guarantee a third successive season in Europe, regardless of whether we're relegated or not. I don't think the rule about not being in the top flight applies anymore. If you want to play in Europe, that was a rule briefly at some stage. I'm fairly certain that that's no longer the case. But anyway, West Ham looking to build. Declan Rice, who's been at the as usual at the centre of everything today, plays the ball wide on the right hand side. Some neat one-touch passing. Vladimir Soufal has been heavily involved tonight. Gets the ball once again, but yeah. Now here's Said Benrahma dropping short to win the ball. Plays it back to Declan Rice. Brentford, solid banks of four. Very well structured defensively. Been given plenty of time to do it. Of course, West Ham now have to find a way through. Declan Rice looking for the run of Paqueta. Instead looks out wide to Soufal once again. The nod back to Jared Bowen. A move that we're very, very familiar with. Good run by Declan Rice. There opportunity for Craig Dawson to play it into him, but checks back, instead plays it to Angelo Bonner, who is another who's back in the team following a long spell on the sideline. Said Benrahma looks up, jinks his way around two or three players, gets nowhere. Looks to loft the ball into the far post, looking for Jared Bowen, but it's nodded clear. West Ham still pushing, probing, pressing gently. But for no reward so far. It's still 1-0 to Brentford. That goal from Ivan Toney coming after 18 minutes with what was only Brentford's second attack of the game. Lose this and we'll be 9 points behind Brentford, says Craven. Shows just how bad we've been, or alternatively shows how well Brentford have been playing this year. Of course, they've had one or two excellent results, haven't they, already this season. Thumped Manchester United 4-1. Plus one or two other decent results. Cross from Paqueta looking for Scamacca just a little bit too long. But get West Ham it's just as has been said, it's just that sort of game so far, that sort of season, a little bit more luck, just a ball here and there being slightly overplayed, not quite reaching its target, just such fine margins, but all adding up at the moment to deny West Ham. Now, what's happened there? Brentford were asking for a throw-in. They believe the ball went out, but the linesman says otherwise, and it's West Ham who have the throw-in now on the right-hand side of Brentford's penalty box. Now, West Ham are in trouble. They've caused themselves a problem. Fortunately, it's an overplayed ball by Ivan Toney, but there's a short throw into Declan Rice, who gave the ball away deep in Brentford territory, and Brentford broke on the left-hand side. Could have, with a better ball from Toney, West Ham could have been in trouble there, but got to be careful. The second goal would be disastrous. Said Benrahma opens up his legs, plays the ball into the box. Unlucky. It was good idea. But West Ham still pressing. Paqueta playing that much, much deeper role tonight and looks much more involved than we've seen. Creative rather than sort of chasing the ball. Looking to be at the heart of everything. Wins the ball again. But Brentford able to break here. Rice is a bit slow getting back there. He's Toney into the box. Craig Dawson in front of him. Plays the ball down the side and well marshalled. The ball played short by Toney, looking for Mbeumo, but he's well marshalled by Angelo Bonner, and the ball runs out for a goal kick to West Ham. Polaroid says 2 quick goals before half-time for us is my prediction. Well, we'll all take that right now. To be honest with you, I'll take one before the 90th minute, I think, and just avoid defeat to put an end to that run of poor results. But yeah, a win would be nice. And it doesn't take much, as we saw at Arsenal the other night. A couple of quick goals can change things very quickly. And West Ham certainly playing with a lot of attacking intent this evening. It's just not quite coming off for the Hammers. what do you make of Lucas Skamaka so far? Does he make himself available enough? You know, I mean, we see, is this team sort of set up for the Italian? You know, we've seen it work much better for Michail Antonio. Does he work for Skamaka? Is he that sort of player? Or is he more like a Hilaire who struggles to play, you know, as that sole striker? Let's know. West Ham have a corner, as I just put a spammer into the bin. So, corner from the left-hand side. First corner from the left tonight. This is Aaron Cresswell. Looks like he's going to take this one. It's played short and it's put straight out for a West Ham throw-in. I don't think the fans will be too happy about that one, but, you know, a bit of something different. Side Benrahma now with the ball. Looks to get into the box. Can he get to the byline? Checks. Going backwards. Finds Cresswell. Cresswell's going to play it to Declan Rice here. Now, can Rice get a ball into the box? Does play it in. Ogbona's trying to get on the end of it. He does get on the end of it. Plays it short. Chance comes in. Oh! It's a great save from Raya. It's the closest West Ham have been yet to scoring. It's Emerson, who was eventually found by his defensive partner there, or I say his usual defensive partner. Ogbonna playing it short inside the box to Emerson. It's going in. I think the shot's going to creep in. Very, very acute angle. Looks to me like it's going to creep inside the near post. Maybe a bit the outside of the post, but palmed away for a corner for West Ham. In comes the corner, cleared out. But West Ham still with the ball. Benrahma on the left-hand side, out by the touchline. Wins a throw-in. West Ham in complete control. It's just been the story of the game so far. The Hammers really controlling this match, but just cannot, you know, again, it's been the story of our season. It just can't find the final touch inside the box. The final pass has been a little bit awry, as it has been most of the season. But, you know, in terms of getting into the box, we're completely in control. Right-hand side now. Soufal is going to lift one into the box, looks to the far post. Ogbonna, who stayed up, gets underneath it, and it's over the bar. But yet another shot from West Ham. Yeah, not really close on that. Again, he's got under it a little bit. Ogbonna, it's well over the bar. But again, you know, it's nice to see. We've seen Dawson, Emerson, Ogbonna there, all have chances in the first half. So, you know, you certainly can't say West Ham are sitting back and not going for it. It's just not happening at the moment. And we're just having a bit of an injury check. One of the Brentford players down. Is that Ben Mee? I think it might be Ben Mee down receiving treatment at the moment. Jay Moore says, do you know where I can watch the game? If you go to the kumb.com general discussion forum, you should find a thread there entitled live streams, which may point you to one or two streams that you may be able to watch the game on. Alternatively, stay with us. West Ham in complete control of this game so far in terms of everything except the scoreline. Brentford managing to score on one of the two breaks during the match. And yeah, now we're just being shown Martin Allen in the crowd. I think that's Martin Allen. Is that Martin Allen? It might not be Martin Allen. No, don't think he's Martin Allen. It might be. Hazy shot. Was it Martin Allen? Let me know. Let me know if it was Martin Allen. Mad Dog in the crowd sharing his notes with someone. 36 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Brentford 1. The Hammers down to the 18th minute goal from Ivan Toney, but the Hammers in complete control, looking much, much better today. Paqueta and Rice pretty much controlling the midfield this evening, but just West Ham just can't find that finishing touch where it matters at the moment, as has been the problem all season so far. Now the ball played into the channel by Benrahma, cut out, but here's Declan Rice driving forward 35 yards from goal, cuts onto his right hand side, plays it out to Soufal. Now Soufal will look to get the ball in again, checks, plays it short to Declan Rice. West Ham will have to go to the other side now to try and find some space, and it's Emerson with the ball. He's going to look to get it in, but he turns and cuts across, looking to go into a gap that's probably not there, and indeed it wasn't. But Paqueta manages to retrieve the ball for West Ham. Declan Rice plays it out to the left to Said Benrahma, cuts inside his right foot. Decent crossing, but Raya comes out to the edge of his 6-yard box to collect what was a fairly dangerous looking ball with Gianluca Scamacca looking on, hopefully hoping to try and get the ball in. Seen a shot of David Moyes on the touchline. It looks a little bit perturbed, as you would expect, signing his position. Of course, there's been an awful lot of criticism for Moisey in recent days and weeks, some of it completely unacceptable, quite frankly. I appreciate that everyone's entitled to their opinion, but some of the abuse and vitriol has been completely over the top, especially on social media. Of course, we don't do that in KUMB. We allow everyone to voice their opinion, but as long as it's respectful, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But no, as I say, some of it on social media has been beyond the pale, quite frankly, and really disappointing to read. But there you go. That is social media, I guess, for you. 38 minutes gone. West Ham 0, Brentford 1. Ben Mee has a throw-in for the Bees, who lead through that 18th minute Ivan Toney goal. Seen absolutely nothing from Brentford, really, apart from that goal and a chance they had a few moments earlier, which is an easy save for Lucas Fabianski to being all West Ham. But, you know, the statistics will look good for West Ham, but as we often say on this stream, the only statistic that matters is that one that's up there in the top left-hand corner of the screen. Not this one, but the TV I'm watching, the stream I'm watching, which reads 1-0 to the visitors. Jamo says, I went on KUMB, but I couldn't find anything. There should be someone on there that's got it. I'm not sure. Because I'm on my own, Jamo, I can't really come away from the stream to have a look and find the thread. Or if you search the match thread, it's quite possible there might be a link or two in there. I'm always telling people off for doing that, but sometimes people will post a link to a stream in the match thread. So just have a search in there. You might find something that gives you a stream. We're just coming into the final 5 minutes. So what do you make? Let's have a little chat about Lucas Paqueta. A lot of people have been very, very underwhelmed with his performances since joining the club from Lyon in the summer. But what do you make of him tonight? You think he looks more comfortable in that slightly deeper role playing alongside Declan Rice? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think it's something that can work? If so, how do we incorporate Thomas Souček, or is his time up at the club? Let me know your thoughts on that central midfield conundrum. David Moyes obviously trying something a little bit different tonight. It's not been working out in recent weeks. As we said, it looks like it's been working all right tonight, but West Ham just caught, as we have been so often. Hence the fact we're a goal behind right now as we are entering the 41st minute. West Ham breaking on the left-hand side. Ben Rama again, looking to run at people as he always does. Tries to loft one over the top. That's a poor delivery straight into the hands of Raya, who claims it easily and just slows play down. Said Ben Rama, interesting one, because you'd perhaps like him to see him run at something he hasn't really done an awful lot tonight, is run at his man and try and beat him. A couple of times we saw him dip in a couple of early deliveries. Hasn't really got to the byline and got around the back at all yet tonight. But it's been a decent. It's been involved quite a lot. Done reasonably well so far, as everybody. But stats don't lie. 1-0 to the visitors. West Ham 61% possession, 8 shots, 2 on target so far for the Hammers. Brentford 39% possession, 3 shots, 3 on target, 4 corners for West Ham, none for the visitors so far. So that pretty much tells the story of the first half. It's been all West Ham, but Brentford, the only team who've managed to breach the opposition goal so far. I think we've got a second goal for Brentford coming up. Disappointed to say, De Silva has scored. Again, I've not seen it on my stream, but this is pretty disastrous for West Ham, and really, really bad time to concede right on the stroke of half time. Let's see what happens on my stream. It's 42 minutes and 6 seconds gone, and West Ham are in possession on the halfway line with Lucas Paqueta. So let's have a look and see what happens. It is 2-0 to Brentford. That's confirmed now. Bad defending from Cresswell, apparently. So I'm reading on Twitter. Now let's have a look. Cresswell has got the ball now. Plays it short. That's fine. West Ham still with the ball, but Paqueta tries to play it to Ben Rama and plays it straight into touch. So the visitors have possession. A bit of news coming from elsewhere while we're waiting for this second goal. Now let's have a look. And all right, it's shocking. It's just woeful defending. De Silva scored. It's 2-0 to Brentford, and it's just West Ham have completely taken their eye off the ball here. A throw-in taken very, very quickly. I've got to see that again. I don't know if it was over Cresswell's head, but West Ham have completely switched off. The ball just played down the line. De Silva's just raced onto it and tucked it under the advancing Fabianski to make it 2-0. And you begin to fear for David Moyes, having seen that, because that's just appalling. So let's have a look again. The throw-in played short. It's lobbed. Now, Cresswell's got a good 5 yards on De Silva before the ball is played over his head by Tony. It's Tony who clips the throw-in. The throw is taken from the halfway line into Tony, just turns and clips it down the line, where De Silva just bursts past Cresswell, and with his left foot just plays it past Fabianski to make it 2-0. It's a horrendous goal to concede for West Ham, and it's 2-0. And you have to assume that's game over the way West Ham, unless a miracle occurs in the second half. This is disastrous, absolutely disastrous for West Ham, who've been the better team by far in the first half, in complete control. But Brentford broken twice, scored twice, and you've got to say that's game over. Unbelievable. I'm stunned. I'm stunned by this. And as I said, West Ham have played well tonight. I mean, let's not make any bones. We've been the much better side, but haven't been able to break the opposition down, and we've just fallen apart too. Again, it's individual errors, isn't it? Well, let's just keep an eye on this. Declan Rice plays it out right to Soufal. Delivers it with his left foot, but it's a poor delivery straight into Brentford. We need a bit of variation here. There's an awful lot of play, same old from West Ham, getting into good areas. It's played out into the flanks where you're reliant upon Soufal and Cresswell or Emerson to deliver a ball in from the flank. Soufal's delivery's never been exactly wonderful. Not exactly renowned for delivering decent balls into the box, and kind of wonder why we're persisting with that. No one making a break through the centre, trying to get into the box, play the ball in. Something that's kind of been, there always with David Moyes' West Ham. Very good at getting the ball into the box for headers and crosses, but no one really prepared to take the ball on and drive into the box from the centre. 3 minutes added on at the end of the first half. I'm just watching Twitter with one eye and the stream with the other, and as you would expect, Twitter is a cesspit at the moment. I'm not quite sure what David Moyes will get all the flack for this. I'm not quite sure what else he could have done really tonight. He's put a team out that's looked to the better side, and again, it's same as Arsenal on Monday. It's individual errors that have cost us. Craig Dawson going across to attempt to win a header over the top of Soufal for the first goal for Jensen's throwing, which he didn't need to do. And the second goal coming from West Ham just switching off. No one picking up Ivan Toney from the throw-in. Aaron Cresswell beaten for pace in a straight run by De Silva. Of course, Cresswell will be getting pelters for that. I mean, you've got to look at the whole thing. Who's picking up Toney for the throw-in? Cresswell wasn't the only one who didn't react in those circumstances. The whole team switched off. Whole team is completely switched off. It's half time anyway. Although we've still got another minute to play on my stream that I'm watching. It's 2-0 to the Bees at half time. And David Moyes, if he's ever earned his money before as a manager giving a half time talk, he's got to go out there and do something quite incredible now if West Ham are going to turn this one around. 1-0. Not ideal, but you would have quite fancied West Ham to get back into it. 2-0, I'm not so sure with that very, very frail mentality that we seem to be exhibiting at the moment. and that propensity to leak goals at any point. You certainly wouldn't bet against the visitors getting another one in the second half. And, you just can't see where a goal's coming from West Ham, even when we get close. The Declan Rice opportunity after just 5 minutes, we're denied by the Woodwork. And it's a concern. It's a worry. Yeah. Just waiting for the halftime whistle to come. And the ball's in the air currently inside the box. Lucas Paqueta's got a shot away. Yeah, it's very close. Paqueta's shot from the edge of the box, just wide of the right-hand post. Keeper Raya stretching, wouldn't have saved it, I don't think, if it had been on target. But yet again, it's just a yard wide of the post, and just not happening for West Ham again. Looks like it's going to be another one of those days. Yeah, Raya's beaten. He wouldn't have got there. Yep, and unexpectedly, or not unexpectedly, a chorus of boos from the home fans greeting the halftime whistle as West Ham going to the break, looking pretty desperate. 2 goals behind, and it looks like we're heading to a 5th successive Premier League defeat. And you just wonder how much more of that the board will take. Dave Moyes, plenty of points in the bank, and given the last 2 seasons, the back-to-back European qualifications, perhaps given a little bit more time than 1 or 2 others might have been as a result of that. And of course, we're all, well, I say we are all, anyone who is can consider themselves to be a genuine West Ham United supporter would be absolutely delighted to see him turn it around. But there's little evidence of that happening, given what we've seen so far. The goals coming in the 18th minute. Well, let's just have a quick look at all the highlights of the first half. Declan Rice, of course, hit the post way back in the 5th minute, cutting in from the right-hand side. Whipped a lovely shot that had Raya beaten all ends up. It clipped the front of the post and bounced away. Craig Dawson had a header from a Jarrod Bowen corner, which was just wide 6 minutes later. And then Jarrod Bowen had a shot, which was also just wide after taking a deflection from close range. And at that point, West Ham were in complete control of the game, looking very, very strong indeed. Brentford's first opportunity came in the 15th minute, shot straight at Lucas Fabianski from about 22, 23 yards out. And then the first goal, Jensen throwing from the left-hand side, left of West Ham's penalty box, thrown towards the near post. Vladimir Soufal had marked his man and looked for all the world as if he was going to, if not win the header, or at least challenge for it. And then from nowhere, Craig Dawson came over the top of him. Both of them missed it, and the ball was headed back into the centre, where Norgaard's shot was pretty reasonably well saved by Fabianski. There was little he could do about it, though. All he could do was just push it out. Didn't have time to push it wide of the post or anything. And Ivan Toney was first to react, the England hopeful. Of course, he's probably going to be facing a very lengthy ban in the next week or 2 for betting irregularities. I'm not sure they were irregular because he was doing it quite frequently. But anyway, betting when he shouldn't have been. Toe poked the ball over the line to give the visitors the lead after 18 minutes. Jarrod Bowen had a shot blocked on 22 minutes before Jan-Lucas Skamaka's header from Vladimir Soufal's cross was on target, but easy for Raya to pick up. Emerson had a shot pushed just wide on 34 minutes. Probably West Ham's best chance. Took it from a really acute angle, but 8 yards out to the left of the Brentford goal, and it was a good save by Raya. It looked like it might just be creeping inside the post. If not, it would have hit the woodwork, but Raya managed to get up smartly and push it away for a corner, which came to nothing. Angelo Ogbonna restored to the starting 11 tonight, had a header from another Soufal cross. Unfortunately, he was leaning backwards and couldn't quite get any purchase on it, and it just drifted over for a goal kick. And then the sucker punch, Lucas Paqueta. Again, it's another sequence of West Ham errors. Lucas Paqueta with an easy pass on to Saïd Berrahma, just put the ball straight out into touch. The resulting throw-in was given to Ivan Toney, who was not picked up. Toney turned, knocked it straight over his head into the channel for De Silva to race onto, completely leaving Aaron Cresswell for dust. And De Silva just poking the ball over the line to make it 2-0 to Brentford. The final action of the first half, Lucas Paqueta, a shot from the edge of the box just wide of the post. But that was the first half in a nutshell. West Ham in complete control, looking the better side throughout, but just succumbed to 2 sucker punches. And it's almost certainly game over for the Hammers unless something miraculous happens in the second half. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's just all going wrong for the Hammers at the moment, isn't it? Does anyone feel any sympathy for David Moyes in that first half? Or do you think he got exactly what he got? Do you think he's played the right team? Do you think West Ham deserve to be 2 behind? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section on the live stream down there somewhere, wherever it is. What did you make of it? Is there anything else Moyes could have done? I mean, same as at Arsenal the other night. Individual errors costing West Ham players just not switched on. You can't really blame that on the manager. It's disappointing. I mean, as a manager, you can choose not to play those players, of course. But when you look at who's making the errors, Craig Dawson never made as many errors for West Ham as he's been doing in recent weeks. Again, just snatched at that header when he didn't need to for the first goal. The second goal, Paqueta, who's been excellent. Probably West Ham's brightest player in the opening 5 minutes, just passed the ball out into the touch, not on the same wavelength as Said Benrahma, and nobody picking out Ivan Toney, and then Aaron Cresswell outrun for the second goal. Maybe Alphonse Areola would have made a better fist of both goals. It's one thing you could say, Moyes could have changed. But, what do you think? Do you think Moyes is at fault for this one, or do you think it is just player errors? I mean, at some point, you've got to say the players have to take responsibility for what's going on out there. I'm not trying to absolve Moyes of all the blame, because obviously it's it's a collective problem. But the players have got to take responsibility, I think, at some point. And that's, again, it's the same as Arsenal. Disappointing errors that have cost us badly again tonight. And yet we've looked so good throughout tonight, being the better team by far. Let's have a quick look at some of your comments and see what's going on. We have someone who we need to get rid of, which we'll do right now. Let's go back to your comments. Craven, let's start there. I'm sorry, but he has to go this evening. This is simply inexcusable. I presume we're talking about David Moyes, not any of the players that were responsible for the errors tonight. Polaroid says, we played well, no accounting for defending like that. What else have we got here? 45 minutes of Moyes, says Craven. Hobo, story of most of our season, playing well or otherwise, nothing in the penalty box. That much is undeniable. Been very, very poor in the box. Alan Pardews Dead says 5 successive defeats is going to be the final straw. And Hobo says, I daren't look on the forum. Epic hash time, is it possible to sack a manager at half time? And Paul McCarthy, what's Moyes been doing the last 6 weeks with his team? Time for a managerial change and not war. But Paul, I'd be interested to hear what you think is Moyes' fault this evening. What you think he's done wrong? Did he pick the wrong team, in your opinion? Because as far as I can see, it's individual errors that have cost us. As a team, I think we've been set up tactically well tonight. We've been the better team. We've had. We'll have a look at the stats in just a moment, but we've definitely been on top. Let me know what's Moyes done wrong tonight. Perhaps you felt you should have picked other players. Maybe Areola in goal. Maybe Antonio should have started instead of Paqueta. Instead of Scamacca. Just watching highlights from Leeds and Man City, which I suppose if you're looking for crumbs of comfort, this is one of them. Man City 2 goals up at Leeds. Cruising there. So it looks like one of our relegation challengers are going to get beaten as well tonight. Hobo says, if you go 2 down with all that possession, there's something very badly amiss. Craven says the players aren't playing for him. It's clear that he's lost the dressing room. I think that's let me be polite. I don't agree. Players switching off, I don't think is indicative in any way of a manager having lost the dressing room. It's more an indication that players aren't entirely switched on and not doing their job. Simple as that. I'm not sure how you can suggest that means Moyes has lost the changing room, but anyway, that's Craven's view. Do you agree? Let me know. Sean West says Moyes has given us wonderful times, but a change is needed. The confidence looks so fragile. And Hobo, coming back to Craven's point, says I don't think that's apparent tonight, Craven. Yeah, I mean, on that point, I mean, I've seen a couple of people say that, Moyes has lost the change. I mean, I don't. To begin with, I'm not sure I even know what that means. Does it mean that the players aren't giving 100%? And if it does, and players aren't giving 100%, then surely the players, it's the fans that have lost the players, not the manager that's lost the dressing room. I mean, any professional should be giving 100%, regardless of the situation, regardless of who the manager is or what the circumstances are. I certainly, they may have lost faith in the way he's preparing a team, the way Moyes is setting up his side, his training methods, but there's certainly been no complaints over the last 2 years. So I'm not sure why that would change, unless you're talking about the new players. Maybe the new players haven't bought into it. I don't know. But anyway, let us know. Yeah, Glenn, I've just realised I'm watching that, thinking it's a live. These are indeed highlights of Leeds and Man City from the other day that I'm watching. So I do apologise for giving anybody false hope just then. He's lost the dressing room. What does that mean? What does it mean? I mean, can you elucidate and tell me what you actually mean by that? Because to me, it's one of those meaningless, hackneyed phrases that doesn't really mean anything. I'm not quite sure how a manager can lose a dressing room. If you say the players aren't playing for the manager, then that's surely down to the players, and that's just a demonstration of unprofessionalism. Because, as I say, regardless of who the manager is, what the circumstances are, the players should still be giving 100% and not be making mistakes like they have tonight and at Arsenal on regular, frequent occurrences. 5 goals in the last 90 minutes of football, and you can attribute each one of those to an individual error. That's just not good enough, and I don't think you can blame the manager for that. Some of you might say I might say that because I'm always supportive of the West Ham managers, and I try and take a more balanced view and think, there's a view that if a team is doing well, it's because of the players, and if a team is playing poorly, it's because of the manager. There doesn't seem to be any sort of provision for errors being made by both or neither or whatever. But it always strikes me that if things are going wrong, it's always the manager that gets it in the neck, when the players seem to escape scot-free a lot of the time. I think that's happening to a degree here tonight. Individual errors. Anyway, Matty Lowy's joining us on the stream. Good to see you, Matt, from Melbourne, Australia. Must be very early over there, I would imagine. Matt, hope the sun's shining, and no doubt the weather's a little bit better than it is. Of course, it's middle of summer, isn't it, in Melbourne? Sure, it'll be lovely over there right now. Let us know what the temperature is, Matt. Let us make us all a bit jealous as we struggle with the sub-zero temperatures here in England and other parts of the UK this evening. Eamon Green says it's down to bad defensive signings this season. Emerson and Kehrer weren't the answer, even if they are just cover. Should have bought a £50 defender rather than a midfielder as well. 50 million defender, I'm sure you mean, Eamon, rather than a midfielder as well. I mean, if we're going to talk about the defence, let's look at the fact that Moyes' first choice players are not available at the moment. They haven't been for a while, and I'm not sure they've even played together, have they? More than once or twice. I'm talking, of course, about Naya Fagerd, who was a reasonably priced signing, £25 million, and Kurt Zuma, who cost just under 30 million when signing from Chelsea a year or so ago. That's a good centre-half pairing, but the point is David Moyes has not been able to call on them at all this season due to injury. Agard, of course, out for 3 months, went to the World Cup, come back injured. Kurt Zuma has been injured. I mean, I think he's been injured for pretty much. I mean, I go back to watching him at Kidderminster earlier in the year, and that grounds like that are obviously a good to get a good perspective on the players, because you're so close. It's those old style grounds, not like the Stratford Stadium where you're a million miles away from the players, but one of those grounds. And even then, I recall thinking that You know, he doesn't look fully fit. He was limping when, you know, he didn't have the ball. So he's obviously been carrying that injury for quite a while. And of course, that centre half pairing is is the linchpin for any side, and we've not been able to have a settled centre half pairing all season, and that's clearly been an issue for Moyes. Not Moyes' fault; it's just bad luck. It's just the way it goes. I'm sure he wouldn't have played Carrot and Dawson as his first choice front two under any circumstances unless he was forced to. So yeah, I mean, Paul, you could say we could have. Eamon, sorry, you could argue that we could have spent more on defenders. But at the end of the day, you know, we were talking about this on Monday with Nick, weren't we? It's the defence isn't the issue. We've got the fourth best defensive record in the league currently, or we did have until Arsenal, and that's without a settled back four. The problem is at the other end. We've only scored half as many goals as we had at this stage last season. The problem is putting the ball in the back of the net. Why is that? Well, we've all got opinions on that. But yeah, the problem isn't the defence, is it? Paul says that the players have some responsibility to our fifth successive defeat. New players are not to blame. Look at Newcastle. Not necessarily, Paul, but integrating those players into the squad. This is the problem. I think when you get so many new players in the squad. I mean, we've 9 new players in the squad this summer. That's a third of a squad. That's an incredibly big turnaround, and a lot of players to incorporate. If one or two, you know, have an off day, you know, it can unsettle the whole team. Of course, you've also got the issue there of players who are already at the club having their noses put out of joint by new players coming in. They're essentially being told they're not good enough and need replacing. I think a lot of people underestimate the effect that bringing in so many players has had on the team this season. But Leicester 2-1 down, 2 comical own goals from the same player. Thank you, Craven, for updates. The second half is underway, by the way, and we're off. Mulan Kassan says, following you all the way from Kenya. Hiya, Mulan, good to see you. Nice to have some African followers on the stream. Hopefully we'll have something for you to cheer in the second half. We're all feeling a bit depressed here. You've joined us at a bad time. We're usually a bit happier than this. Craven says, Milan fancy taking over from Moyes after tonight's game. Well, I'm sure some of you will argue he couldn't do much worse. But anyway, we shall see. Plenty of time left to go. Win probability, 85% in favour of Brentford. We've just been shown by the graphic on screen. Anyway, West Ham starting the second half. Much the same way we ended the first, on the front foot, with possession, and looking to get into the opposition final third. Craig Dawson bursting forward, plays it on the left to Cresswell. Cresswell's going to look for an overlap. Instead, he plays it short for Emerson. Little 1-2, and again to Emerson. Very crowded on that left-hand side, and West Ham just not getting the ball across quick enough, which has obviously been a complaint of many. On the other hand, Brentford breaking quickly. Declan Rice does really, really well to win the ball. That's the best we've seen from Declan Rice so far. Excellent stuff from Declan Rice. And he has the ball back and looks to... and that's got the crowd going. That's good to see. We need 1 or 2 moments like that to get everyone behind the team. Jarabone on the right-hand side, bursting down the flank, looking for support inside. Goes inside, goes over a tackle. I think we've got a penalty. Yeah, it's a penalty. West Ham have been given a penalty. Well. What about that? Jarabone cut inside. I'm not sure it looked like he'd lost the ball. The referee took a lot of time to think about it. Now let's have a look at this again. Bowen tried to go between 2 players. Let's have a closer look. Yeah, it's a trip. It's clear it's a trip. Defender hangs his leg out. Bowen goes over it. I think it's outside the box though. I've got a feeling the first contact might have been outside the box. Let's have a look again. Yeah, no, that's a penalty. It's first contact was outside the box, but Bowen's momentum has carried him into the box, and it's me who's conceded the penalty. What a great start to the second half for West Ham. So Ben Rama hopefully is going to step up and put this in the back of the net, and we're just waiting for confirmation from VAR, I think. I mean, it's quite clear that the initial contact was outside the area, but the momentum took Bowen into the box. And I think the rule is that, well, we saw it once or twice in the World Cup, didn't we? As long as VAR is having a look, I think they're going to. Now let's have a look. Contact is, if you're saying contact is with the knee, it's bang on the line. I can't see how they're not going to give this as a penalty. I'd be very surprised if this is overturned. It's not, I don't think. Well, just waiting for confirmation. No, it's been given as a free. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, you're talking about bad luck. There it is in spades. VAR has overruled the referee and given a free kick right on the edge of the box. I'm very surprised by that. I'm very, very surprised. The initial contact, I pointed out straight away, was just outside the box. You could see that, but Bynes' momentum was taking him into the box. And you could argue that the connection, the defender's knee on Bowens was bang over the line. Anyway, it's just the way West Ham's luck is going. So anyway, free kick for West Ham. Bowen's going to whip one in, probably shoot from here. It's blocked. And it's cleared. And that's, yeah. Disappointing. I'm still not sure about that. I need to check the law exactly how that stands, but I'm fairly certain the law had changed to say that if the majority of the incident was in the box, then it would, even if contact was initially outside or on the edge, that if the referee awarded a penalty, then it would stand. Yeah, maybe someone else will correct me. And Brentford are breaking through here. This is West Ham caught out again, and again the Hammers falling asleep. But Aaron Cresswell does well to nip in and win the ball there. And Brentford scored a third there. That would have been curtains for the Hammers. But as it is, we're still in with it, and plenty of fight being shown by the team right now, including from Said Berrama, who's conceded a free kick for, in the referee's opinion, fighting just a little bit too much on the halfway line. But yeah, just not going our way, is it? Yeah, Craven said it. No luck whatsoever. I mean, that's absolutely right. When things are going against you, that's the way it goes. And I mean, it was, looked a penalty all the way, but VAR says otherwise. You could argue West Ham, of course, have been denied 2 penalties now, because the Dawson one, I had a look at that a couple of times. Not really had a proper chance to look at it, but it looked to me very much as if there was contact on Dawson for that. When was that? We're going right back to the first half, first 15 minutes, I think it was. And so a second one West Ham denied, but it's a cruel game. It's a cruel game, is football, and yeah, you kind of felt if West Ham had scored there, it would have heaped pressure on Brentford for the rest of the half. But now we've got to start all over again, and still plenty of time, still 40 minutes to go. No need to panic just yet. But we're going to need to score a goal fairly soon if we're going to get back into this game. Cresswell aims across into the box. It's headed clear. Ball's back with Declan Rice, 35 yards from goal. Rice looks for his options. West Ham players pretty static in front of him. Not a lot of movement in or around the box. This is the problem, I think, with West Ham. They're very, very static at times. Skamaka for a striker. Again, just kind of standing there waiting, not offering anything. You saw him give a little shrug of the shoulders there, but you've got to work harder, son. You've got to make yourself available. It's no good just standing on the edge of the box waiting for things to happen. You've got to make things happen. You're a £35 million international striker. You've got to work harder. It's not good enough. Not good enough. 52 minutes gone. Still West Ham United 0, Brentford 2. West Ham could have had 2 penalties this evening, but one denied and one denied. Another second denied by VAR. West Ham have a free kick now. 24, 25. No, has he given it to Brentford? No, he's giving it to West Ham. West Ham have a free kick. 24, 25 yards from goal. Hobo says the Dawson one was a penalty, in my opinion. I think it's a fair shout. Talking about the second penalty incident, Hobo saying I'd have been shocked if they'd given that. Get Antonio on for Emerson. And Craven saying, Hobo, look at the penalties that have been given when outside the box this season, though. Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Anyway, West Ham have a free kick. It's Said Benrahma over it with Aaron Cresswell. Where are we? 24, 25, 27, 28 yards from goal. I think this is going to be a shot because everyone lining up in the edge of the box. Brentford very, very high on this one. I'll be looking to float this one over the back, I think. Craig Dawson could potentially get on the end of this, and Brentford playing a very, very dangerous and very high line here. Cresswell's going to shoot, and it's over the bar. No problems at all. So it remains 2-0 to the visitors. 8 minutes into the second half. Let's have a quick look at the stats. West Ham 65 possession, 10 shots, 2 on target. Brentford 35% possession, 4 shots, 4 on target. West Ham 4 corners, Brentford no corners so far, but of course Brentford 2 goals ahead. 2 quick breaks, West Ham caught out, fell asleep again, individual errors costing the Hammers dearly once again tonight. You just can't afford to do that at this level. Got to be better, Aaron Cresswell with the ball, lets it run out, and it will be a West Ham goal kick. Let's have a quick dive into the forum to see what's being said. Predictably, perhaps, Aaron Cresswell getting some criticism from the usual subject. Cresswell has been horrendous, shocking performance from one of the senior pros. Not quite sure I see it that way, Lovejoy, but as I said, each to their own. A lot of people urging David Moyes to make changes. I'm not sure we really need to at the moment. I think we've been on top. You get a lot of people just saying, "Oh, throw in another striker," but of course you've got to take into account what effect that has on the rest of the team. You can't just throw in another striker as if it's going to magically give you more in attack. Brentford have a free kick. I think it's Mbeumo who hurled himself theatrically to the ground. Declan Rice is walking away, throwing his arms up in the air, as he's wont to do when West Ham was struggling. Frustration, deep frustration from Declan Rice, as you would expect, given what's happening out there so far tonight. 55 minutes gone. It looks like we might see a change from the visitors first of all. Yeah, it's a free kick before that happens. It's a free kick to the right of the penalty box for Brentford. Number 19, Mbeumo, looks more like a Samoan rugby player over the top of it. Drills one in. It's headed clear by Paqueta, I think, and Craig Dawson has the ball by the corner flag and plays it down the line to Suffolk. Can West Ham break now with Brentford still caught up field? Lucas Paqueta. It's all a bit slow, all a bit ponderous though. It's not, there's no real pace or energy from West Ham trying to get forward, and the ball comes back again, and just slow build up. I mean, that's one thing I think you can attribute to the coach. You need to exploit those situations a little better, perhaps, use some energy and pace. And again, I'm watching Scamacca, and he's just like a statue. No movement at all from the Italian, just standing on the last man. And got to be a bit better than that. Got to be a bit more mobile than he has been so far. Not difficult at all to mark. Now, here's Emerson. Looks to play the ball into the box, but it's easily picked up. Scamacca still standing on the spot, waving his arms in the air, not moving around, not offering anything for his teammates. Which is interesting because quite often people are critical of Michail Antonio, but I think he does do is work himself into decent positions, pulling out wide if he needs to, finding little pockets of space that aren't occupied by defenders. Scamacca, I think if I was a defender playing today, I would love to play against a player like Scamacca because he must be the easiest player in the world to mark, just not mobile enough. Jarrod Bowen bursts towards the box, gets a shot off. Now, that should be a free kick because his shirt was tugged as he went towards goal, but I think the referee will not call that back because he was allowed to go on and take the shot, which was saved by Raya to his left-hand side. It's definitely a pull on the shirt by the Brentford player, and it probably did enough to put Bowen off, but referee says play on. Just coming up to the hour mark now, you'd expect David Moyes to perhaps change something. I mean, as I say, I think we played reasonably well tonight. I think this has been the best performance I've seen from West Ham for a while in the first 2/3, shall we say? Not really offering a great deal in the final third. And I would say that we've hit the post, 2 penalty shouts, one very good one, another that was given but then ruled out. Anyway, here comes the first change or changes of the game in the 58th minute. It's a double change for the visitors. Let's have a look. It's Jensen and Mbeumo coming off, and they are going to be replaced by, just waiting to see who's coming on. It's Visser and Janelt. Visser, the number 11, and Janelt, the number 27, coming on for the visitors. Double change for Brentford. 58 minutes gone. Nothing from West Ham so far. No changes to this point. We just have no pace in any area of the pitch, says Glenn Marshall. It's a really good point. I mean, this is, I think, well, hang on a sec, because Brentford are breaking into the box. It's a chance now. Well marshalled by West Ham. Tony looked like he might get into the box, but I think it was a Cresswell again with a good saving challenge. Yes, Glenn, no pace. I think if you have one criticism, legitimate, or the most legitimate criticism, of course, there've been plenty, but the most legitimate criticism of West Ham's summer transfer business would be that we haven't really gone out and bought anyone with a real burst of pace. So one thing that was so instrumental to that excellent season the year before last, Jesse Lingard could just change gear and get us up the pitch really, really quickly. Michail Antonio sort of maybe lost a yard of pace in the last 18 months or so, possibly, but yeah, it's something that we just haven't really got in the squad, is it, at the moment? I think it's a really good point. Milan Kasim says, on the day of the monkey's death, every tree it jumps onto is slippery. That's the Hammers for you guys. Well, let's say that's the most interesting analogy of the evening. Let's just hope no one's going to die out there tonight. Now, we're just seeing an elbow. It looks now as Scamacca elbowed a Brentford player. Let's have a look. A VAR checking this. I mean, we're seeing a number of replays. I don't know why it looked like 6 of one and half a dozen of the other to me. But the Brentford player is the one who's fallen theatrically to the deck, demanding treatment. Now, of course, you remember last time out at the London Olympic Stadium when the two teams met, they spent the last half, it was pretty much for 70 minutes of the game they were time wasting. But that's a good example of it there. We're just seeing the first goal again just being replayed. Why are we seeing that again? For any particular reason? No, I think they're just showing both goals again. Yeah. Scammy has slapped a player into 2023. Bardew's dad. Craven will be bottom 3 after this weekend. That will show how desperate things are right now. Something has to give. Hobo says, at this stage, we have to try something again, in my opinion. Yeah, why not? I mean, as I said, I think we played pretty well so far. But yeah, it's clearly not working, Hobo. But that much is evident by the fact that we're 2-0 down. So why not? What have we got to lose? What has Moyes got to lose? Rather more importantly, Brentford breaking quickly. Now look at the difference, the pace, the speed of the attack. Not seen West Ham do this once in the entire match. Probably not seen West Ham do it once this season. Just no zip, no energy, no pace in the team, which even the Brentfords of this world seem to have in abundance. And that, of course, gives you another dimension in terms of a tactical approach. You can sit back and know you've got that in your locker to be able to do it. West Ham haven't. We just haven't got that, and it's been so costly this year. Paqueta is still in Qatar, to be honest, says Milan. Yeah, I think he's actually played all right tonight. I think he's probably his best game so far. I think he looks more comfortable in this position. Of course, the question then is why has he been playing in a more advanced role up until now? Perhaps Moyes wanting to, be loyal to the likes of Thomas Souček. Could be at his own cost. Eventually, you might argue. But anyway, West Ham still probing. 62 minutes gone. West Ham nil. Brentford 2. 2 goals coming in the first half for Brentford. West Ham hit the post after 5 minutes. Had a penalty shout ruled out when Craig Dawson went down the box and were awarded a penalty, which was changed to a free kick by VAR upon review. The luck just not with West Ham tonight. Just not happening. Scamacca is certainly throwing himself. It's almost like someone's had a word in his shell, like, and said, you need to get your finger out, son, and get involved a bit more. He's already put someone on the deck with a flying backhander, and now he's getting involved a bit more. But what do you make of Scamacca? I mean, hang on, Brentford are breaking down the left, and again West Ham's defence breached. Cresswell racing back. This time he's done well to get back with the substitute Visa. But it's a poor cross anyway, straight to the hands of Lucas Fabianski. 63 gone. Not quite sure what West Ham are doing here. Fabianski's playing some 1-2s with Soufal, which looks a bit dangerous. And I think a change is needed now. The West Ham seem to have hit a bit of a wall for the last 5 minutes or so. The game kind of interrupted by all these changes, but West Ham not as influential as they were in the first half and for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the second. I think a change is definitely needed now. Who have we got on the bench? Let's have a look again. Who can influence? Well, here's the change coming out, and it's Mickey Antonio coming on. It's straight. This will. Okay, no, it's not a straight swap. I thought it was. I thought initially it was Scamacca coming off, but it's actually Emerson. So, well, I mean, anyone who's asked for certain things for Moyes won't be disappointed tonight. He's played a 4 in midfield. He's put Paqueta in his favourite position, dropped Souček, and now he's got 2 strikers on the pitch. So there'll be a lot of the regular complaints aimed at Moyes that can't be levelled at him tonight anyway. But anyway, West Ham 2 on the pitch. So let's see if this changes things up a bit. West Ham looking dangerous already. Antonio involved, looking to thread a ball through to Gianluca Scamacca. Just a little bit strong for the Italian who can't make it. On the bench, we've also got Areola Johnson. Who else defensively? We've got Aguerd and Kehrer at the back in midfield. We've got Souček, Downs, Lanzini, 3 central midfielders. And then you've got Fornals also with Antonio, the final substitute, of course. Antonio now on the pitch. Yeah, David Moyes has certainly done a lot of things that people have been asking for. But is it going to be a case of too little too late, especially for Moyes himself, with a 5th successive defeat looming, 6th, in fact, if you take into account all competitions. Craven says Brentford, like Brighton, look like yet another bogey side for us. Yeah, they've certainly had the hex on us, haven't they, Craven, in recent games. Here's Said Benrahma looking for options. Nothing on. Still with the ball. Plays it to Cresswell. It's all very tight out here on the left. Declan Rice now plays it into the centre for Paqueta. What's Paqueta got on? Plays it to his side for Dawson. Dawson's going to let one go. And, well, I guess that kind of sums West Ham up this season in a way. When you're relying on someone like Craig Dawson to put the ball in the back of the net from 25 yards, you're always going to have problems. Yeah, he's just caught it with the outside of the foot, and it's just wide. It's just poor. It's just not good enough. I don't know why Craig Dawson's shooting from 25 yards. It just stinks of desperation. That, quite frankly, Brentford are making another change to Silva, the goal scorer, is going off. And coming up the pitch is Godos, the number 14. That's the 3rd substitution for Brentford in the 66th minute. Vissa and Jan out on for Jensen and Mboima a few moments earlier. West Ham's only changed so far. Antonio for Emerson after 64 minutes, 2 minutes ago. It's still West Ham United 0, Brentford 2. On Scamacca, Hober says it's difficult to gauge him, but he just looks wrong in this side. Yeah, I don't know. Looks a little bit disinterested to me. I hate to say it, but you know, I'm getting vibes of Haller again. Just good players, quality players, but I don't know. There seems to be something missing. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's quality. I don't think it's a lack of quality. Whether it's a lack of just the fact that he hasn't gelled with the rest of the squad, I don't know. I mean, I don't generally buy the argument that, you know, they can't play as one up front or they can only play as 2 up front. These are professional footballers. They're of such immense quality that they can play in pretty much any formation they're called upon to do. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully he'll snatch a goal or 2 before the end and show us exactly why we pay 35 million for him. Cross coming in from Soufal, looking for Antonio, gets his head on it, but Antonio all over his defence, hands on the shoulders, and that'll be a free kick to Brentford. And Pardeau's dad says we don't look like scoring even if we had another 90 minutes. Yeah, it's got a bit flat, isn't it, the last 15 minutes or so. I thought it was a good first half. I thought we looked strong, although we, you know, only really made the keeper make one save. That was the Emerson shot after 34 minutes that was pushed wide by Raya. But yeah, we're not testing him enough, and for all the possession we've got, it's not good enough. Quite what the answer is, I don't know. David Moyes is, you know, if David Moyes is someone who's paid handsome amounts to figure out the problems, can't solve it, I'm not sure I or any one of us on here we can suggest things, but I think the problems, the malaise at West Ham might be going a little bit deeper than just a few tactical changes or switches. Quick look at the match stats as we're into the final quarter of the game. 63% possession for West Ham, 14 shots now, 3 on target. Brentford 37% possession, 4 shots, 4 on target. Still West Ham 4 corners, none to Brentford. West Ham in control in terms of having the ball, but just unable to do anything with it, which has been the story of our season so far. Needs someone to inject a bit of energy or pace into that front line. Throwing from Brentford, played into the box, West Ham clear. Hooked over his head by Michail Antonio. No one in front of him, and the ball just played all the way back to the Brentford goalkeeper, Raya, who's got the ball 25, 30 yards from goal outside of his penalty box and just hoofs it long down the field, looking for the number 30 for his Roslav. It was a good tackle there. Oh, actually, no, it's not a tackle. The referee thinks it's a foul. Thomas Soufal is absolutely furious at that decision. He thought he'd won the ball fairly from the substitute Visa. Now, I think Brentford are arguing that if it's a foul, it should be a sending off because he was last man. Now, the referee's going to his pocket. What's he going to do here? Soufal might be in trouble here. Let's have another look. Paqueta it was who gave the ball away. I mean, it's not a free kick. I don't think it's a free kick. I think Soufal's gone across Visa. Visa's run into him. I don't think it's even a foul. But I think the Brentford players are arguing, well, if it is a foul, it should be a sending off because if the tackle isn't made, then the player is through on goal. It's a one-on-one. Now, I think a yellow card's been shown. I'm not sure. If anyone saw that, can you confirm that on the stream, please? Anyway. It's a free kick to Brentford. I can tell you that Lucas Fabianski is about to make a fantastic save because I've just seen someone write it in the stream. Thank you, Alan Pardew's dad. Yannick, the substitute over it, and Tony as well. Aaron Cresswell playing the prone on the floor player behind the wall. Tony strikes the ball. It hits the wall, comes out, and it's fired back at goal, and Fabianski gets down to his left and pushes it wide for a corner. It's a good save. Let's have another look. Yeah, it's taken on the volley by the number 11. I think it was Visa. Yeah, it's going in the corner. It's actually a really, really good save to his credit. Sorry, it's not Visa. It's Godos, the other substitute. Who's forced to save. But really good save from Fabianski. He pushes it out for a corner, but it's probably not going to matter now anyway. Oh, West Ham all over the place. The corner, the ball, it's just gone through a sea of bodies to Tony at the far post, and he hooks it over the bar when he could have actually taken a bit of time and caused more problems for West Ham. But West Ham defensively all at sea again tonight. 18 minutes to go for West Ham to find at least 2 goals and save the game. And potentially David Moyes' job. Who knows? It was at this point 3 years ago, of course, that, Craig Dawson's made a terrible error, giving the ball away to Tony. Tony's played it back. West Ham unfortunately managed to get bodies back behind the ball in the box. And Tony has the ball again and made the wrong choice, really, but he's still got the ball. Tony tries to play it into the box, maybe trying to be a little bit clever. But Brentford are finally getting some time on the ball. West Ham in a bit of trouble here, but managed to clear the ball at last. Not looking good for the Hammers. Not looking good. But anyway, Said Benrahma with the ball. .73 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Brentford 2 as it stands. David Moyes heading towards a 6th successive defeat in all competitions, 5 in the league. West Ham in deep trouble. As I was saying a few moments ago, it was at this point 3 seasons ago that the board decided to pull the plug, rather, on Pellegrini, and say enough was enough and install Moyes as the manager. Could it be the same about to happen to Moyes? The ball goes up, ball played into the box. Antonio gets a header on. It's lifted over to the back. He nods it on. Bowen tries to get on the end of it, but it's just over Bowen's head. And another chance goes begging for the Hammers. Just not happening yet. Again, Brooke Dev Bond says not many of these players seem to give a toss, which goes back to what we were saying at halftime and at the start of the second half. You know, there has to be some responsibility taken by the players. Yet again tonight, it looks like we're going to lose due to individual errors. Some fans beginning to leave early, having seen enough, want to get home, beat the traffic, beat the queues, the silly stop-go balls outside the stadium. It's just anger people further, I found in my experience. Craven mentioning the fact that Ivan Toney being allowed to play, despite the fact that there is an impending ban coming for the betting situation, which has been charged by the FA for. Lucas Paqueta bursts forward, finds Skamaka. That's better. That's better. Stings the palms of Raya, but it's a fairly easy save for Raya. But that's what we need to see from Skamaka. Made for the first time, I think, in the game, he's actually lost his drop short, dropped off the defender, found a bit of space, received the ball from Paqueta, and he's turned and shot. And it's on target. But we're not seeing enough of that from Skamaka. We need to see more of that. Needs to drop a little bit deeper to pick up the ball. Let's have a look at the replay here. Yeah, actually given a bit of space that time. He didn't really drop deep. He's just managed to escape between the two centre halves, and Paqueta cleverly found him. And it's a good effort. It's a good strike, but easy for Raya. We're into the last quarter of an hour. It's still West Ham trailing by these two first half goals. We need something pretty sharpish now if the Hammers to get back in this game. Here's Michail Antonio bursting through the centre. Goes round one, goes round two. Oh, Mickey, you've got an overlap. He's got Jared Bowen on the overlap, and he's opted to shoot. Fortunately, we managed to regain possession, but that's poor. That's poor. And Said Benrahma is absolutely doing his bits out here on the left-hand side, because the ball is played short to Skamaka, and he's tried to shoot from, well, he has shot from 30 yards. It's an absolute mile wide of the goal. It was an air shot, actually, initially by Antonio, which kind of sums up West Ham at the moment. Then Skamaka just, I don't know. You know, we've seen a few like this. This is what happens when teams get desperate. We saw Craig Dawson shooting from 25 yards, just over 10 minutes ago. Skamaka's tried it now. It's desperation stakes for West Ham, and it's not going to work. Still only one change so far by David Moyes. Let's talk about Pablo Fornals. As anyone who regularly watches this stream knows, I'm a huge fan of the Spaniard, as are the other chaps who regularly stream with me. Just been dropped lately, not in the side. I mean, I always felt that when West Ham were playing at their best, Pablo was integral to that, a real key component of that team. And here's a chance for Brentford on the far side play, but it's an easy save. And fortunately for West Ham, the wrong player ended up taking the shot. If it had been left for Ivan Toney, that could have been 3-0. But West Ham live again. Now, Said Benrahma's got the ball this time on the left-hand flank, looking to get to the byline. Just barged off the ball, and that'll be a goal kick. That's really solid defending by the Brentford player. And just not Benrahma's night tonight. Been playing very, very well of late, but not his night. Yeah, Pablo Fornals. What's going on there? We think there's maybe an issue behind the scenes that we're not aware of. As I said, key for West Ham in that European run last season, and for everything good that's been done by the club in the last year or 18 months. Just can't get into the team at the moment. And again, you know, I think tonight might be an ideal opportunity for him to have a run at Brentford. Not given a chance. 12 minutes to go. Still West Ham 0, Brentford 2. Blow the whistle, says Brooke Dead Bonds. Ref, this is painful. I'm an eternal optimist, BDB, but even I'm struggling to see how we can come back and get something from this game. It's just not looking like it's going to happen this second. I'm really disappointed second half, actually. I thought we were excellent in the first half, but as I say, I think if we'd have been a goal behind, you might have seen a much better performance from West Ham, but it's just looked like desperation stakes in this second half. And not really troubled Brentford at all. And you have to wonder what Moyes can do now if he's going to be afforded more time to affect change for the good, positive change. You know, you've got to ask who's it going to be? How's it going to happen? And what personnel? I mean, he's put Paqueta in at the centre, which is what people are asking for. Drop Souček, which is what people are asking for. He's got 2 strikers on the field, which is what people have been asking for. It's just not working. Nothing is working for the Hammers at the moment. But anyway, Soufal puts a cross into the box. Scamacca tries to get in front of his marker, but once again, it's Pinnock who manages to get there first and put it out for a West Ham throw to the right on the right-hand side. West Ham still pushing, but there's just no. Again, this is another lack of movement from West Ham's front players. I mean, I know I've been harping on about Scamacca being a bit too immobile today, and not just today, but since we've seen him. But it's not just the Italian who's not really, and every ball that goes into the box is just hopeful. We've just seen a Paqueta delivery, a hopeful ball into the box, just not really aimed at anyone, just into the general direction of the box, hoping that someone might get something, like get a toe on it or a head on it, and now we conceded possession. It's just so poor, just so poor from West Ham. And you've got to say, if anybody looks like scoring the next goal, it's the visitors who have looked bright and energetic whenever they've got the ball. They've sat in. As I said earlier, West Ham are so easy to defend against at the moment. It's as a defender, you'd love to play against someone like Scamacca, who's, I'm watching it now. Just last man leading the line, no movement, not looking to pull off. There he goes. And the ball doesn't come in. Jarabone with the ball, plays it out to Soufal. We're gonna another hopeful cross about to come in. If he can make it in, well, that is hopeful because it's not even reached the centre. West Ham do have a corner, a 5th corner of the game. Soufal's cross averted out into touch. Is this a problem? We're relying on someone like Vladimir Soufal, who's not, as I said before, not particularly renowned as being a decent crosser of the ball to deliver all of our attacks from that right hand side tonight. Jarabone delivers, floats it into the box. Dawson up! Oh, it's so close. So close. It was dipping. Dawson's header dipping underneath the crossbar, but Raya gets up and tips it over the bar with his left hand. Dawson finally manages to escape a player. Didn't get too much on it. It was leaning backwards, but it's still dipping under the crossbar. But gets up again. And this time it's headed wide. It's going to be another corner. West Ham's best moment of the second half. Thomas Souček is on the pitch, replacing Lucas Paqueta. Not sure how that one will go down. I haven't got the volume turned up, so I can't tell. But anyway, 82nd minute. West Ham's second change, going for a bit of height, no doubt. Cresswell delivers, looking for Jared Bowen, and Bowen's just got it all wrong. And I'm not quite sure why that's been given as did the delivery go out from Cresswell straight away, or was there a push? Not sure, but anyway, Brentford have a free kick. Craig Dawson's so close. It's going in, it's just dipping under the crossbar, but goalkeeper able to. Let's have another look from a different angle. Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward save from Raya. If he hadn't saved that, you'd be disappointed as a Brentford fan. But closest West Ham have come to scoring in this second half anyway, which says a lot of it. Hobo says that shot for Sullivan's looking as glum as Moyes is. And Glenn Marshall going back to Fornell's question, saying I'd get him on for Soufal. We need 2 goals. We just look desperate. Shot of some more fans leaving the ground. That's interesting. Can we get back to the game, please, dear broadcasters? Thank you very much. It's beginning to look like this one's definitely gone now. I mean, I felt that if West Ham could have got one back, even then, even if we'd have scored from that Dawson opportunity, it would have set us up for a frantic final 10 minutes or so. But you never know. You never know. We've done it before. Never say never. Never say never, as they say. But it's looking increasingly unlikely that West Ham are going to get anything out of this game. Side Benrahma on the left-hand side, looking to run at his man. He hasn't beaten once yet tonight. Checks back again to Cresswell. Cresswell floats one in. Again, it's another one of those airy-fairy floaty crosses, just aimed in a general direction. And this time it's Brentford's turn to play the ball into touch completely unnecessarily. But yeah, it's still waiting for to see a West Ham player get their foot on the ball and drive at the centre of the box, as Jesse Lingard used to do to such great effect during that short stint at the club, which proved so effective. It's always the same. Crosses coming in. Another cross this time from Bowen, and it's just floated straight into touch. It's dire. It's dreadful. It's awful. Awful stuff to watch at the moment, which is such a shame because we started so strongly tonight. And you kind of get the thing that if West Ham had scored the first goal this evening, we would have gone on to win it. The crowd was, credit to the crowd. They got behind the team to start with. I know it looks like most of them have left the stadium now. There's great big empty areas of the ground, lots of white seats you can see. And you can't blame people. It's 9:30 on an incredibly cold Friday night in December. The team's 2-0 down, little chance of getting back into the game. You can understand why they've gone, but they certainly gave it a good go in the stadium tonight. Thomas Souček on the right-hand side runs the ball out of play. In other news, Ronaldo has signed for Al Nassr. Transfer that was spoken about for a couple of weeks now, or a few weeks even. The KUNB.com general discussion forum, match thread there. Yeah, it doesn't make good reading, as I'm sure you'd understand. Mickey Antonio gives the ball. I was going to read a few comments, but I think this one sums it up from WCP. We started well. They scored a cheap goal. Game over. Confident shot. Yeah, pretty good summary. I could use that for KUNB's match report, I think, for this game. Yeah. And Port City Iron on the match thread alluding to that point I was making a few moments ago. There's still nobody in the team that can play through the middle. The one person we had was shipped off to Italy, astonishingly poor from Moyes and his staff. Yeah. Another ball hurled into the box and easily dealt with by Brentford. I mean, it'd be interesting to see the statistics from tonight's game, how many attempted crosses West Ham have made and how many have been dealt with by the opposition. Rice tries to play the ball through the centre. Credit to him for Skamaka, but defender reads it. Nice to see something different. Here's Benrahma, cuts inside, finds Rice. Cresswell now is going to whip this one in. It's a deep cross. Mikel Antonio gets up, can't get anything on it, and it's cleared again. Just no invention from West Ham. Same old thing, time and time again. I think that's what's most disappointing. We look really bright to start with, but tactically, no one wants to get their foot on the ball and run at a defender. The best players we've ever seen at West Ham, the Di Canios, the Payets, all players who want to get the ball down and run at defenders. Even Benrahma seems to have had it drilled out of him. Another cross delivered in from the right that comes to nothing. The kind of football we were all brought up on and enjoyed. Declan Rice this time loops one into the far post. It's another easy catch for Raya. I think it was Alan Pardew who made the point that we could be here for another 90 minutes and not score. I think we could be here for another 90 years at this rate and not score. If this is the West Ham's only tactic, throw Tommy Souček on and just hurl long balls into the boxes. I mean, as a coach, it must be the easiest thing to defend ever. The same old tactic continuously employed. Get the ball out wide, hurl it into the box and just hope that someone can get on the end of it. No one prepared or charged with getting the ball at their feet and running at the defence. forcing the only time we've seen a West Ham player tonight in my memory, run at the defence, nearly led to a penalty. Jarrod Bowen tried to, instead of slinging a cross in, there's another cross coming in from Soufal from deep, cleared out. So Benrahma picks it up. Yeah, the only time I've seen a West Ham player really run at defenders tonight and try and beat them was when Bowen won the penalty, which you might think would be just cause for someone else to try it, but it's just not been the case. Brentford have just stuck 11 players behind the ball, sent to West Ham, let West Ham take the ball out wide because they know what's coming. A simple, straightforward cross into the box that's so easy to deal with. Here's another one. Low one this time. Soufal centre deflected for a corner. Is this 7 or 8 corners from West Ham now? Corner number 9, according to the BBC. And the big men get forward. 90th minute now, in the final minute of normal time. Wouldn't it be just so very West Ham to get a goal now and there'll be no added on time? Dawson goes up. He misses it this time. And it's going to go out for a goal kick. And, it's West Ham summed up tonight. Deep ball into the box. No one getting on the end of it. And it's just right out for a goal kick. Ivan Toney's in a bit of trouble. He's got a knee injury, apparently. That could be incredibly convenient considering there's an incoming ban looming. He's banging the floor with his right hand. Let's have a look and see what happens here. Goes up for the challenge with Dawson. I don't know if he falls awkwardly. Maybe he jarred his knee on the way down, but anyway, that will no doubt see Ivan Toney replaced and probably ruled out for a few weeks conveniently with a knee injury or something like that. Match stats, West Ham still 63% possession to Brentford's 37. West Ham now 19 shots at goal, only 5 on target. Brentford 9 shots, 6 on target. West Ham 8 corners to Brentford's 1. It's the same old for West Ham, isn't it? Lots of crosses, lots of shots, but none really. I'm not quite sure what Toney did there. I'm not sure. I mean, he seemed to fall on his foot awkwardly, but he seems to be in some pain with his knee. Anyway, we're lurching towards an inevitable defeat for West Ham. Time to have some match summaries. Let me know what you think of the game so far. West Ham being unlucky tonight, or just not good enough? Is it a case of you go back to the 5th minute when Declan Rice's shot, cannon back off the post, that goes in. It's a completely different game. But how many times have we said that this season? A lot of people I think talk about luck, but I'm kind of the view that you make your own luck. I forget who it was who said the harder I work, the luckier I get. But there's definitely a lot of truth in that. And we're just seeing the stretcher come out for Ivan Toney. And it stopped on the sidelines. He's now been down for over 2 minutes. But the easiest 3 points that Brentford will ever get, says Craven. Sam K asks, do you think the squad of players are good enough, or do you think Moyes or whoever will be in charge in January needs to strengthen the squad? Good question, Sam. I always come back to the fact that we've not had our first choice defensive partnership out this season. Agard has barely kicked a ball for West Ham since signing in the summer. Kurt Zouma never been fit all season. Of course, he's a few weeks away from returning. But as we said earlier, the issue hasn't been the goals conceded up until the last week. We've been pretty strong at the back. Only 3 teams have got better defensive records before the Arsenal game than West Ham. That's not the problem. The problem is putting the ball at the other end. I think what we are desperately lacking is, and I think this is clearly evident tonight, is a player who'll get the ball. I mean, we were talking about it a few minutes ago. The Pyatt's, the Di Canios, players like that, even Sheringham, player like someone like that, Berkovic, those sort of players. Someone will actually get the ball on the ground and get the fans on their feet and run at defenders, cause them problems, make them make mistakes. As I said, the only time we've seen any of our players run at a defender tonight was when Jarrod Bowen tried to burst into the box and won a penalty, which was, of course, subsequently changed to a free kick. So if we were to invest any money during January, I think that is the area. I mean, people talk about right back. Yes, if we're going to carry on playing this way, you need someone better than Vladimir Coufal to deliver crosses into the box. Thilo Kehrer, I didn't think was too bad. I'm quite surprised that we haven't used him tonight. I think he's the options, Johnson, Kehrer, Coufal. I think he's probably the best option at slinging balls in the box. We do need someone in that position. Obviously, we still haven't really addressed the left back issue. Emerson is probably better employed left of midfielder as a wing back. We don't really have a full back. So those are key areas. But for me, the greatest deficiency in this team at the moment is Sam, is the fact that we don't have that sort of player, that traditional player that gets fans on their feet. Someone, I hate to say it, Jesse Lingard. I know he's not had a great season at Forest, but that's exactly the sort of player we're missing. Someone who will get the ball on the deck and run a play. Someone with a bit of pace, bit of energy as well. We're so slow in transition when we've got the ball, aren't we? It's a problem. As I said, we're so easy to defend against because opposition teams know exactly where the ball's going to be coming from. It's going to be coming from Cresswell or Benrahma on the left, or Bowen or Coufal on the right-hand side. And, you haven't really got to worry about Scamacca. He's like a statue 99% of the time. So lots of problems, but I don't think it's an insurmountable issue. I do think the club are going to have to invest. The problem is finding the right player for the right money in January. And, as we all know, traditionally January is a terrible time to find the sort of player you want. Of course, Liverpool have done it with Gakpo, but that's Liverpool, a club who's can promise Champions League football pretty much every season. So yeah, who that might be, I don't know. Give us some suggestions. What players do you think West Ham might look to sign in January? Is there anyone out there who you feel could make the difference? Bearing in mind, the club isn't exactly flush. We are sort of in profit thanks to Daniel Kretinsky's £125 million cash injection. We're now in the sixth minute of added on time. It's still 2-0. But it looks like it's going to be one player or none during January. Al Ritchie's asked, where were you at Upton Park, October 1975? Al, I'd never been to Upton Park by 1975 because I wasn't there until 1976 was my first game. It was a home defeat, funnily enough, to Derby County. If I recall correctly, it was 2-0 and Charlie George and Alan Hector scored. So that's where I was in 1976, but 1975 I was still a little bit too young to be taken to the ground. Sam, let me know who you think we should buy. If obviously it's got to be within reason. What players do you think David Moyes could bring in, or any successor if it's felt that Moyes has taken the team as far as he can? 97 minutes now played. Only +4 was called originally. The referee is going to blow up very, very soon. I've not even been watching the game for the last couple of minutes because it's just been, kind of out the corner of the eye. It's been same old, same old. It's Jarrod Bowen with the ball. Immediately crowded out by 4 players, Brentford players who win it and take it away from him. Now, Michail Antonio, opportunity to do something. And he tries to shoot from an impossible angle with players right in front of him. And it's just desperate. Turns around, hurls one into the box, and it's easily headed out. And this is poor, so poor from West Ham. A game that really promised so much. We started so well, looked so good. Now, Michail Antonio's got the ball out wide and nobody's even making a run for him. And in the end, he tries to cross it and it's just straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. And that sums it all up. I've said that about 4 times, I think, in the last 20 minutes. But yeah, it's looking desperate for David Moyes now. And it's going to be a difficult press conference for him after the game, that's for sure. And that's full time. 97 minutes and 51 played. And it finishes West Ham United 0, Brentford 2. It's a 5th successive league defeat for the Hammers, a 6th successive defeat in all competition, if you include the Carabao Cup defeat at home to Championship side Blackburn a few weeks ago. West Ham players stood around on the pitch in sort of mock semi-disbelief. And the remaining fans, credit to the fans that have stayed there for the whole game, because that was a tough watch. The second half, really, really hard to watch. West Ham just devoid of ideas and intent. Goalkeeper Raya sharing a joke with Michail Antonio. Nice that Antonio can see the funny side of it. I'm not sure many of the supporters will be laughing on the way out tonight. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream there, because I think we've pretty much just about covered everything in the game. There doesn't seem to be an awful lot of good stuff to talk about. Quick look back at the highlights. As I said, West Ham started so brightly. Declan Rice hit the post from 25 yards after just 5 minutes, and the Hammers were on top, to be fair, for the entire half, but undone by individual errors. The first goal, a throw-in. How many times have we seen West Ham concede from throw-ins in the final third this season? Southampton, there was another one. Was it Everton as well, I think, possibly? Almost identical positions on the field. Ball thrown towards the near post, headed on. Shot saved. It was Norgard's shot saved by Fabianski, palmed out, but only right at Tony, who poked it back over the line to put Brentford ahead. West Ham felt they might have had a penalty. Craig Dawson was brought down in the box. The referee said no, waved it on. I think he might have had a shout. And then the second goal, another sucker punch. Lucas Paqueta passing the ball straight into touch. Brentford took the throw in fairly quickly. It was thrown to Ivan Toney, who turned on a sixpence, flicked it over his head into the path of De Silva, who raced onto the ball, just completely left Aaron Cresswell for dust and tucked the ball under Lucas Fabianski to make it 2-0 to the visitors. West Ham did have a penalty just 2 minutes into the second half. Our hopes were briefly raised when Jarrod Bowen was brought down, actually trying to run past, actually trying to beat the player, something we haven't seen from West Ham at all tonight until that moment, and not since. The penalty initially given, but then VAR decided that the contact was outside the box and didn't merit a penalty. Still not sure. I'll have to look. I'm going to look back at the law on that and just clarify exactly why that was ruled out, because I thought that rule had changed, or that law had changed more recently, which would have said that was allowed. But anyway, there's not really much to add in the second half apart from that. There was a header from Dawson in the 81st minute, which was our best chance of the second period, tipped over the bar by Raya. Apart from that, a lot of shots from West Ham, but nothing that really challenged the Brentford goalkeeper. Final match stats: West Ham, as it was since half time, I think 63, unless the West Ham, no, it hasn't frozen, because the shot tally's increased. 63% possession to West Ham, 37 to Brentford. West Ham 19 shots in the end, only 5 of those on target. A lot of shots from outside the area. You know, we saw Craig Dawson try his luck from 30 yards, which kind of again, you know, summed up what West Ham were about tonight. 9 shots for Brentford, 6 on target. 8 corners for West Ham. The only one that really sort of came close to ending up in the back of the net was from that Craig Dawson header in the second half. 1 corner for Brentford. Final score: West Ham United 0, Brentford 2. And David Moyes is now on the precipice, and it will be a very interesting press conference and next few days. That's about it really tonight. I'll have a quick look at your comments before we go. Just looking ahead to the next game, West Ham at Leeds. What a huge game that's going to be at Ellen Road in next Wednesday. 7:45 kickoff. We'll be with you for that one, and of course on the weekend it's back to Brentford for the third round FA Cup tie. West Ham face the possibility of being out of both cups by January if they don't get a better result against tonight's opponents. Just taking a quick look at your comments before we go. No ideas, little energy, says Steve Hobo. My pleasure. Thank you for your company. Steve Palmer, not even a delapsed throw in the tool. And Lawrence Salmon says, we move stadium for this. There you go. Shocking stuff. Shocking stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it there because I'm beginning to get a little hoarse having held a road alone this evening. Thank you all for your coming. Thank you also for your many, many comments, which have kept me alive and alert and filled in those little gaps of silence throughout the evening. Happy New Year, says Richo. Happy New Year indeed, West Ham fans. You never know. We could be European champions in 6 months' time and wonder what all this was about. Stranger things have happened at sea. Till next week. Come on, you.